What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Shadow Realm for another episode where I know it has been a hot minute since the last video. But that's not for good reason. If you can already notice and look at the background, I have just moved house. The Shadow Realm has relocated. So yeah, that has been the reason for my absence. It's been about a month. It took us about a full month to move, and I gotta tell you guys, like, I've moved house a lot in my life, but this last move was tough. Me and my wife kind of decided to try to move everything ourselves, so we didn't hire removalists or anything like that, and it took us a solid, just took us a long time to move everything, but we finally got most of the things unpacked. Not everything's done yet, but I'm at the point where I've reset up the studio, well, the new studio as it is now. And so I thought I'd give you guys a little studio tour because I've got everything set up so nicely. I've just finished it. And also I might show you guys my recording setup in this video because believe it or not, that is one of the more common questions I get asked. What is my recording setup? What do I use to make these videos? A lot of people message me and DM me on Instagram as well asking me that question. So maybe stick around to the end of the video if you want to see my recording setup. But let's get straight into it and let me show you guys the new studio. Alright guys, so welcome to the new Shadow Realm. Check it out. So it is a way bigger room than what I had before. If you guys remember before, I was basically stuck in a little corner of a room and I just had like this small back wall like behind me. So now I've got a whole entire room to myself, and it is quite massive if I do say so myself. It is kind of a bit too much room that I need, but yeah, I've just got everything set up. Let me take you guys sort of through what I've done, and then you guys can let me know what you think. So starting off, the big thing in the room, I think, are the rugs. These two awesome rugs, and this kind of ties the whole room together in my opinion, but these two things are like unofficial merch. These were from AliExpress, so shout out AliExpress. But we've got a giant Blue Eyes White Dragon SDK artwork rug, and then we've got, of course, the Dark Magician Girl rug here as well. Now, the Dark Magician Girl printing is like way better than the Blue Eyes one. If you guys can see, like, I'm not sure if it comes through on camera, but this is like really fuzzy printing. And the Dark Magician Girl one is honestly, it's like pretty crispy if I do say so myself. But those are the two rugs, super awesome. Now, there is a little hack if you guys are looking to do this yourself in your rooms. If you look on AliExpress, they do sell like giant rugs of like Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards, but these aren't that. These aren't the rugs. These are actually the blankets. So you can get giant blankets instead. And this is what I have on the floor. They're actually two giant blankets and not rugs, because the rugs actually look a bit funky. Like the corners of them are like rounded, and the kind of printing is not even as good as these, I think, based on the reviews. So if you want to do this yourself, get the blankets, not the rugs from AliExpress. But these two things are super awesome. I think it ties the room together really nicely. Now, I was undecided on what size of these rugs to get. So there is a super mega one, which is basically like the size of the two of them put together. So I wasn't sure. The original plan was to put just one giant SDK Blue Eyes like that, but I wanted to have a Dark Magician Girl there as well, so I wasn't sure what to do. So what I ended up doing was ordering both. I ordered the super mega giant size, and I've got these big size as well. So I'll show you guys the video of me unboxing the super giant one. Like, it is comical how big it is, but for now I decided to go with the two sort of smaller size ones, if you will, but they're still pretty awesome. The Blue Eyes, actually, little Easter egg, it says LOB on it. It's SDK Blue Eyes, but it is what it is. It's AliExpress. But those are the rugs to start off. The rest of the room here. So let's start with this. We have so much storage. So behind these mirrors, these giant wall mirrors, is like heaps of this crazy storage. So like there's so much stuff behind there. I won't show you, but I can't even begin to tell you what is behind there. Just so many boxes and boxes. Like, moving house is such a mission, guys. Like, we lived in that past house I just moved out of for 2 years, and we just accumulated so much stuff that it was so hard to move. It felt like it was never going to end. But basically behind these mirrors is a bunch of storage. I've got like vault cards, a bunch of other sealed stuff, a little bit of other random storage here, but this section here is actually where I have most of my card storage. So up here on the top, I've got some art books that I bought from Japan the last time I was there. We got some Azure Lane art books, 4th anniversary, 5th anniversary. I think I've got 1st and 2nd as well, but I'm a big Azure Lane guy. I think I mentioned it on the channel before. Big player, big fan. We've got some mats here. Here we have the World Championship 2023, what do they call it? The dual set thing. This is one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh products of all time. I think it's one of the best value Yu-Gi-Oh products of all time. I still need to open this on the channel. I still haven't opened it yet, but sneak peek, it's the one that comes with the Legendary Dragon of White. Legendary Magician of Dark and the promo cards. I love this thing, so definitely need to open that in a video very soon. Next to it, we've just got some random things, packaging. On the second shelf here, we've got opened products. So this is all stuff that I've opened already. So a lot of this stuff I've opened on the channel, and it's where I just store stuff. So we've got MT24 tins, MP24 NA TCG cards from when I went to America and got that. We've got White Schwartz, we've got sports cards, 25th anniversary sets here. We've actually got some Speed Duel. This is not open yet. This is actually still sealed Speed Duel stuff. Battles Legend. We've got the Bonanza box that our guy Sam sent us in that mystery box opening. That was an awesome video. Big shout out to Sam once again. Down the bottom, we've got some sealed stuff. It looks very bare right now, but I've got a bunch of Rush Duel Pack 2 with the Dark Magician Girl potential for the full art. But we're going to open this on the channel eventually as well. But this is basically where I store a lot of the cards in these drawers down the bottom as well. We've got more bulk. So this is a bunch of Japanese OCG bulk. This is some sealed stuff. This is actually the first Yu-Gi-Oh product I bought when I got back into the hobby. Let me see if I can show you guys. This is Yugi's Legendary Decks 2. So this thing I got when I wasn't even really back into the hobby, but I was always like a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, you know? So when I saw this come out, this was like in, I think the receipt is still in the bag. Let me, the receipt, let's see when did I buy this thing? I bought this, is there a date? 26th of May 2020. So I wasn't fully back into the hobby yet, but I was in my local EB Games and I saw this box and I was like, I remember Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm still super into it. I've always wanted to get back into the cards, especially Pokemon cards as well. So I pre-ordered this box, I bought this box, and I've had it ever since. I never opened it, but this is kind of a cool thing. This is like my first Yu-Gi-Oh product I bought when I kind of got back into things. Yeah, in the rest of these drawers, I've just got bulk storage cards, more bulk. More bulk. This is more sealed Azulane White Schwartz stuff. But basically, that's where I keep all of the kind of storage for my cards, things like that. But let's get to the kind of juicy part of the room, which is kind of this back wall here where I've set up this little display. So a little disclaimer before I go any further. Now check my channel description. I'm a self-proclaimed filthy casual card collector. You know, I have way too many hobbies and I don't have enough money to spend on all of them. So the stuff you're gonna see is not anything crazy value, but I think I've been able to accumulate some kind of cool pieces of Yu-Gi-Oh merch here and there. So let me show you guys that right now. So speaking of other hobbies, on the right side here, we've got a bunch of my other hobbies besides Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards. So before I got into collecting cards, I was a big sneakerhead. I was a big sneaker person. This was about maybe 10, 15 years ago. So I've sold off a lot of my collections since then, but I kept a couple of my favorite pairs. So here we've got some Jordans, Michael Jordan, the best basketball player of all time, the GOAT, don't at me. So we've got some Jordans there. We've got Kobe's on the bottom. I'm also a big car guy. So we have some random car merch here, Initial D, we've got HKS stuff. Jordan 11s, again, Jordan the GOAT. We have a super old Jordan basketball here. I actually got this thing for my 15th birthday all that time ago, and I've kept it in the box ever since. Up top here, we've got some more car kind of merch that I picked up. We've got some PSA slabs here. This is like a little Mount Rushmore. So these are the first slabs I ever bought, by the way. The first slabs I ever bought were sports cards. They weren't Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon cards, but this is like my little Mount Rushmore, if you will. So we've got Lewis Hamilton, we've got Michael Jordan, and we've got Tom Brady, the GOATs, in my opinion. To the right here, I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but I'm a big Dota 2 player. Well, I used to be anyway, but here are some of my Dota collectibles and merch that I've collected through the years. We've got two Aegis there. We've got these Figma models, Inti Mage and Wind Ranger there. And in the bottom, we've got, kind of related to sneakers, is like a streetwear stuff. So we've got a sealed model there and some Supreme 5-panel caps. But finally, we are getting to the Yu-Gi-Oh section. This side I'm sort of proud of, you know, there's nothing too crazy here, but I still think there's some pretty cool stuff. So on the right here, we have the U-Bell print I got from the Yu-Gi-Oh GX Cafe, the 20th anniversary cafe. So if you missed that video, go watch that video, that's where I got this from. But super cool art print, one of my favorite art prints of all time. It's like literal piece of art, like you can put this on the wall. I actually do need to put this on the wall, by the way. That's what all this blank space is for, but I've got a few other things that need to go on this back wall, so I'm going to put those up first before I put this thing up. So that's just resting right now. On the back here, behind the U-Bell, this was actually before I kind of got back into trading cards as well. So this little display I put together was from my 2018 trip to Japan. So this was when they had the 20th anniversary of Pokemon, I got this little postcard thing for the 20th anniversary and this little like train ticket thing. And so back then I didn't know anything about cards, Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was just sort of wanting to get back into the hobby. So I didn't buy any cards on that trip, but before we left, I was at a random book off and I was like, I need to get some cards before we go. So I just got some of the OG trio, you know, the OG trio. So Venusaur, Blastoise, Charizard, whatever I could find, I grabbed that and I just put it in this little display. So that was kind of my first foray back into Japanese or just trading card collecting in general. And so next to that, we have the Ultimate Kaiba set OCG edition. So if you guys missed the video where I picked this up, go watch that one as well, because I bought this thing in person in Japan and I flew it all the way back with me in my luggage. So this thing holds a special kind of sentimental place to me. Such a cool display piece as well. Like, it is massive undoubtedly, but I finally have a place to display this because previously I didn't, and it was kind of a shame, you know. I just had it tucked away in a corner because I literally had no space to put it, but finally we can put it somewhere. There still is the 3 triple blue eyes plaque kind of thing inside there, so I didn't take it out. I don't know if I have space for it. As you kind of see, it's kind of packed up here, but maybe I will take it out. But the case itself is just so cool on its own. That's the Ultimate Kaiba set. And next to this is some of my favorite stuff I found on my last trip to Japan. So this is the Monster Art Box art book thing. So I think I said I would make a video on this thing as well, but just an awesome find. Original illustrations, like the cover art is insane. This is just so beautiful. I'm assuming because Yuka Takahashi illustrated the cover of this thing, but I think it is absolutely fantastic. I love that. We've got a Millennium puzzle here, just a random figure. You guys saw me unbox this in the kind of Japan haul Christmas special video. Pretty cool products, even though I thought we got scammed because we were supposed to get the Millennium key as well, but we didn't. But that is a little puzzle on a 3D printed stand that I made. Here is the Joke Exodia. This is like the true Exodia card 20th anniversary that came with the Monster Art Box. So when you bought that, you got that card with it as well, so I picked up a sealed version to kind of go with it. So moving on, let's finish off the rest of the cubes here. Underneath that, we have my valuable book and my master guide collection. So these are, like I said, if you watch that Japan haul video, these are some of the best value Yu-Gi-Oh collectibles you could ever get in Japan. So if you find these books used from like a book off or something like that, you can get them for around like $2 each, which is insane value. So watch that video if you want more detail, but these are some of my favorite pieces. Like, look at this thing. Valuable Book 3, I absolutely love this thing. It looks amazing. So I put them here with a little 3D printed pyramid kind of bookend. But hopefully I can fill this out with more stuff if I go back to Japan, maybe sometime in 2026. But yeah, super awesome. Love this shelf. All right, so underneath the books, we have the Slifer figure slash statue thing. So I think I mentioned to you guys before, I'm not a big figure or like statues kind of guy. They're just too big. I don't have anywhere to store them. So that's why I prefer collecting like trading cards much more. But this is the lone sort of figure that I have. We won this out of the claw machine in Japan and spent way too much money trying to get this thing. Overpaid like crazy, but that is the one lone Slifer figure I have. I got a lamp back there. I don't know if you guys can see it properly, but it is looking pretty cool in its little cube but on its own. To the right here, we've got some random sealed booster boxes. So nothing crazy value here. We've got 25th anniversary LOB, 25th anniversary Metal Raiders, and another 25th anniversary LOB. Here is where I saw the Dragon Master Magia. So we pulled this recently. So this is the Magia we pulled in that recent video where I opened like that random pack from EB Games. We actually hit the Magia. I still can't believe it. Recent news, this guy is getting a reprint in Quarter Century Stampede. I think it's coming out in Platinum Secrets, so great news for people that want to play it, but for people that actually have a copy of the card, the value of this thing is just gonna plummet, I think. Maybe not too hard because it's still QCR, but that is the Dragon Master Magia. It's just chilling right here. Underneath the Magia, we've got like a little kind of, I don't know, I guess you can call it like a video game section I tried to make, but this is the Dungeon Dice Monsters GBA game, complete in box, besides the promo cards actually, but that was the one we found recently in Japan. We've got the recent early days collection back there, which I think Konami just kind of screwed everyone on with the kind of promo card situation, but that's neither here nor there. Back there, we've got some old school Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance boxes, box art covers that I found in Japan as well. These are super cool. I need to find a proper way to display these. I just have them chilling back there. But yeah, I love these things. I think they look great. And then in the front here, we have the Joey Wheeler phone holder thing that I got from one of those blind boxes that we picked up last time in Japan as well. Even though it was intended to be a phone holder, I thought we could fit a slab in here, so I have displayed here the ARS 10 Time Wizard from Premium Pack, the original Premium Pack from Tokyo Dome, 1999. So this card was given to us by our guy Sam as well in that mystery box opening, and this card is sort of special. It's got some lore to it. So this card was originally owned by Strictly Sealed. So Omar, Strictly Sealed on YouTube, one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh YouTubers. He makes great videos. I love his stuff. Super informative, super knowledgeable, just makes fire videos. So yeah, that is a cool little piece of lore behind this card, and my only kind of ARS slab so far. So looking to pick up more, but love this thing. So moving on to the right, here we go. We're getting into the waifu territory, kind of weeb territory, but here we've got the Azulane Cube. This is the Azulane Cube. Here we've got the Weiss Schwarz New Jersey SP, so New Jersey, one of my favorite ships in the game. And at the back there, we've got some random keychains, badges that I got from the Azulane Collab Cafe in Kyoto the last time I was in Japan. So that's just a little cool memento of my last trip from there. So that is the Azulane Cube. Underneath here, we've got the Bunny Girl Senpai Cube. So I'm a big fan of Bunny Girl Senpai anime as well. So here I've got a random CGC-10 double rare of mine in the library. We've got the recent Weiss Schwarz set, and back there we've got a Build Divide Right booster box. So this is like a lesser known card game, but they also did a collab with Bunny Girl Senpai back in the day, so I've got one of those there randomly. So moving up to the right here, we've got my kind of childhood video game section. So this is actually the Game Boy Color from my actual childhood. When we moved out of my parents' house, this is one of the only things I managed to save and bring with me, but this is my original Game Boy Color. This is actually my original Pokemon Red and my original Pokemon Silver as well. So it's super cool that I managed to save these things as little relics. I did try to start these two up like a couple years ago, but I think I looked it up, the battery inside them had died, so I lost my save file, kind of sad. But yeah, that was my original Game Boy Color and Pokemon games from my childhood. Had a massive impact on my childhood. It's a huge part of my life right there. Behind there, we have my actual childhood PSP as well. This is the original PSP. I played the bejeebers out of this thing. One of the best consoles ever made, the original PSP. And of course, back there as well, I've got a Game Boy Advance SP, one of the other consoles that played a huge part in my childhood. So cool little cube display, I think here. Lots of sentimental value in this one. And so speaking of sentimental, the last cube we have here is the Celebrations reprints of the base set original Pokemon Trio starters. So we've got Venusaur, Charizard, Blastoise. I don't really collect modern Pokemon too much. I know I probably should if I want to get into it, because modern Pokemon is just bananas right now, but for me, my childhood was ruled by base set. Base set is the most nostalgic thing for me. Base set is just really hits hardest for me. I actually have a crazy story about base set Charizard as well. The story of my childhood base set Charizard, I might make a video one day and tell that story, but yeah, I have a strong connection to that card, so I've just got the kind of reprints here. Those are the celebration prints, and then back here is just some random Pokemon merch that I picked up back in 2018 from one of the Pokemon centers. I got a Pokeball, a Master Ball, I've got number 1 Bulbasaur, and I've got number 151, I got Mew. So that kind of rounds out the nostalgic Pokemon cube. And that kind of rounds out the back display. So that was everything in the back cube. So let me know what you guys think. What did you think of each kind of cube, how I've done it? Would you do anything different? Like I said, there are still some things to go along the back here, namely the Shikishis. So if you guys remember in my old setup, I had the Shikishis on the back wall. I need to put those back up, but I've got a new way I want to display those. So those will be going there soon, along with the U-Bell. But in this last corner here, we've got some pretty cool art prints in my opinion. So if you guys remember from the Japan haul video, these are the Ichiban Kuji kind of posters art print things. So I framed 2 of them up and I've got 4 left to go. I just haven't had time to do the last 2, but the 2 that I framed up, of course, are the Dark Magician Girl ones, the 2 Dark Magician Girl posters. So I've got the 2 Dark Magician Girl posters here, 2 different poses. Pretty cool artworks if you ask me, but of course we've got Yugi here with Dark Magician, and then we've got Kaiba with the blue eyes. So still need to frame those up, but this little corner will be, I guess, a little frame artwork corner. I think it looks great, honestly. I love these prints. So if you ever go to Japan, you can pick up these for like really, really cheap, and they make great wall art display pieces. And then the last thing on the right here, I've got a random clothes rack, because speaking of collectibles, I like to collect a lot of stuff, and one of the things I collect is t-shirts. So I've got a couple hung up right now. They're still all lost in the move, but I have a huge t-shirt collection. So this is the Blue Eyes White Dragon t-shirt from the Uniqlo collaboration. I think they did like in 2020. No, this was a long time ago. This was back when I was in university. So this was a while ago, but I've got that awesome t-shirt. I've got random car related t-shirts here. but I think I want to display those there eventually. And then turning around to the front of the room is where I have my PC and my recording setup. So this is kind of the new area where I will be recording all the videos and editing them as well. And yeah, like I said, one of the most common questions I get asked on Instagram and on YouTube is, what is my recording setup? So let's just get into that right now as well. So this setup is almost exactly what I had at the old place. This hasn't changed much, but the first thing we can talk about is the camera. What do I record with? The camera I record with is the Sony a7 III. So in terms of recording card opening videos, this thing is super overkill. I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but I'm actually a photographer slash videographer slash graphic designer for my day job. So this is part of my work gear. That's why I use this. I'm just kind of lucky that I have this and that I can use this as well to record my card videos, because if I didn't, this thing is super overkill. I probably wouldn't use this. Someone like Ruxin, I know he just uses his iPhone to record his card videos. So kind of depends what you're going for. So it kind of just depends what you have on hand. In photography world, there's a saying that the best camera is the one you have with you. So doesn't matter what you got. If you're just looking to record card videos, just use what you got and I think you'll be fine. Attached to that is my microphone. So this is a Blue Snowball Black Edition, I think is what they call it. But this thing is super, super old as well. This is like 10, 15-year-old microphone technology right here. I just never bothered to get a better one, and I think it does a great job anyway. So I haven't really looked to upgrade it much. Maybe in the future, but it's been doing a great job for me so far. So the camera and the mic is actually attached to this arm right here. This is actually a monitor arm. This is a monitor arm meant to carry like a big 27, 32, 34 inch monitor. And because of that, it is super sturdy. It's meant to carry like a 10 kilo monitor. So I'm just attaching this light camera to it. It like kills the job. It's like way too much for it, but like that's a great thing as well because it's super sturdy. And not many people have used this setup, but I've just got my camera attached to that. So right next to the camera is my light setup. This is just a Amazon LED light bar, nothing special. I think this thing was like 30, 40 bucks. But if you want to do lighting correctly, you would probably use a bigger, more diffused light, like a softbox. You probably had like 2 or 3 of them, but this is just a super basic setup. It kind of works for me right now. Just a pro tip if you're doing lighting is like, don't blast the light. Like this thing is great because it's on a flexi arm. You can kind of articulate it however you want, but don't do this. Don't blast the light directly at what you're trying to film or take a photo of. It's a certain style. You will get nice photos out of it, but it's very harsh. What I prefer to do is point the light away, kind of reflect it off a wall, or in this case, like the wall and the ceiling. In the old setup, I used to have that bent all the way back and kind of like facing up as well. So kind of diffuse the light. You don't need crazy like direct lighting like that. In my opinion, you will have much nicer, evenly lit videos like that. And then speaking of cameras, my face cam, prior to this, I would just use my phone. I would just use my iPhone to record my face cam, and it was great. Recently, I've upgraded to a camera called the DJI Osmo Pocket. So the Osmo Pocket 3 is what I use now to record my face cam. That's what I'm using now to record this video. Again, it's a pretty overkill camera just for recording card videos. So if you're on a budget, just use your phone. I think that is a great option anyway. So down here, of course, is my recording map. This is where everything happens. For the OGs of the channel, you would know that this is from the Blue Eyes White Dragon keyboard video as well. So it is a collab mat by this company called High Ground. This is actually a mouse pad. It's supposed to be a giant mouse pad, but I thought it looked great as a mat. I love the aesthetic, kind of the black and white aesthetic with the Millennium items. I think it matches the channel theme very nicely. The only thing I don't like about this mat is it's supposed to be black and white. I'm not sure if it comes through on camera, but these swirly sections actually has like this kind of magenta, kind of reddish tinge to it, which kind of kills me sometimes when I'm trying to do white balance. But that is the desk mat. And then of course, getting over here to the computer, I've got my Dota 2 Secret Lab chair here. We've got Dota 2 mug. The mouse I use is a Razer Viper Ultimate Wireless, I think. And a Logitech, I think this is the G915 TKO, the 10 keyless. So I like short keyboards, and I've kind of really started to like these low profile mechanical keyboards. So that's what I use there. Got a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor. That's hooked up to my PC. This is a pretty old PC by today's standards. This is a Corsair One Pro. So it's rocking i7 7700K, I think. I have upgraded the graphics recently to a 6900 XT, but not the latest stuff, but it still gets the job done. All I do is edit videos and play some Dota 2 occasionally, so nothing too crazy. Here's the Blue Eyes White Dragon keyboard in question. So this was the Blue Eyes keyboard. Sometimes I go back and forth in between these two depending on what I feel. This is just a different feel to the low profile keyboard. And then I think the last thing is under the table here, I've got this kind of cage drawer storage stuff. So here I just keep stuff that I need quick access to. Here I keep like a bunch of sleeves. So this is like penny sleeves, top loaders, different kind of tag sleeves like that. And then down the bottom, got more sleeves, more random storage. But yeah guys, that is my new YuGiOh studio, if you would call it. So that is the new room and that was my recording setup. Let me know what you guys thought. What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? What would you change if you were gonna change anything? Give me some tips, some advice. I'm not 100% set on this kind of setup I have at the back here. I think my favorite part, I don't know, there's so many. I love the rugs for one. I love the mats. I really like my little nostalgic childhood game kind of cube there. I gotta love the Kyber case. I love the Monster Art Box, and then I love the Dark Magician Girl prints. I'm gonna love those eventually when they're framed up as well. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Hopefully I can get back to some sort of a regular upload schedule, hopefully once a week like we were back in the day. But that is it for this one, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.